Hey, it's Erica. Listen, we are back. We are back for week 6. So let's go on and jump in so we can have this conversation about confidence in the making. Let's go. Hello, everyone. It is Erica Lynette. I am your alignment activator, and I am the founder and CEO of Divignment, which stands for Divine Alignment. Listen, we are here for week 6. I cannot believe it. We only have 2 more weeks after this. Where has the time gone? I just don't know. I really don't know. But I'm so excited to be here for week 6 to have a conversation about confidence in the making and what that's all about. And I'm really looking forward to having this chat because it's something I think that a lot of us struggle with, deal with, depending on how you look at it. And so we really want to dive into, of course, what it is, what it looks like and how we can achieve it. And so, as always, first and foremost, you all have to bear with me because this has been a day. I know sometimes it seems like we, just may come on and just have a conversation and everything seems perfect. It has been a day full of school orientations and everything, but we are going to make it happen. And I'm just excited. We're going to make this happen. So when I want to start as always with a mirror moment, as I say, with, just sharing a piece about my personal story and how all of this ties in. And so when I think about confidence, it's really interesting because that is the one thing that I struggle with the most. And the ironic part about it is that that's the thing that I get the most acknowledgement for. When I walk into a room, when I, get on a stage or do a presentation, everyone's always like, "Oh, you seem so confident." But I mean, really and truly, I may have mentioned it in another episode before. It's really something that I struggle with all the time. And, for me, lack of confidence looks like self-doubt, and comparison primarily. Those are the two things that really just tend to plague me, so to speak, just from different life experiences that I've had. And so, all of that goes back to identity and mindset. And it's so interesting because that's one thing I love about Divignment and Divine Alignment. All of this stuff is so connected. It's all connected. And when we talk about each of these different themes and topics, when we get good at one area, it really impacts other areas. And so, confidence is about having that full assurance of who you are in God, and allowing that to just, resonate in all areas, permeate all areas of your life. And so, again, this is something that I'm truly always working on. I'm truly constantly just working at it day by day and embracing who I am in God, and just truly allowing Him to work through me, and just having that assurance that He is doing His work, that I don't have to do things perfectly because that's not what it's about. And so, when we talk about what confidence is, it's really about having an unwavering trust and belief, and reliance on who God is, having an unwavering trust and reliance on who He is. And that's all rooted in faith. That's faith in His presence, in his position, His provision, and His power. So His presence, faith in His presence, provision, His position, and His power. And it's really a supernatural realization, because it's a boldness that comes with it. It's something where you just walk in this authority, not arrogance, but walking in a true authority that, what, I don't have to worry about it because God's already, directing me. He's already, advising me on what steps to take. I don't have to even, stress over it because we know that He's going to make it work out for our good, right? And so, I had a few Bible verses that I wanted to share that spoke to confidence and what we can hold fast to as His children. The first one is around 2 Corinthians 7:16, which talks about how we can rejoice in having confidence in God because in Him we have everything. In 2 Corinthians 12:9, we find that Jesus' strength is made perfect in our weakness. A lot of times and I'll speak for myself, I may focus on, some kind of weakness, but then I have to realize that's exactly where God wants me to be so that he can show his power through me. Another verse, Proverbs 3:26, talks about the Lord will be your confidence and will keep your foot from being caught. I love that part about being caught, because it's not saying we won't stumble. Sometimes we may stumble, but we won't get caught up in it. It won't be permanent where we're just going to stay in that place. It's always going to be a purpose and a learning behind it. And then lastly, one of my favorite verses is around Joshua 1:9, where it tells us to be strong and courageous because the Lord, your God, is with you wherever you go. There's no doubt that he might be there. Maybe he'll show up. He's already there. He's already there. And I just think that's so beautiful. And so when we think about confidence and what that looks like, it's really about contentment. It's really about understanding that whether things are going good or not so good, we just know that, we have this inner sense of peace. We have this inner sense of joy, even, that it's going to all work out. And we don't have all the answers, but we don't have to, because we just have that conviction and knowledge that it's going to work out because he's in control. And then confidence is also about boldness. It's about moving when God says to move. It's about stopping when he says to stop. It's about pivoting when he says to pivot. Again, even when we don't have all those answers. And it's about taking risk. Sometimes it's about doing something completely drastic that makes absolutely no sense to us or anyone else around us. But that's a perfect opportunity for God to just reveal his power and what he's able to do through us. And so we have to continue to rely on him to do the impossible in our lives, to do the impossible through us, those things that are well beyond our comprehension. And that's what I want, for my life. I want that to show, because anybody can do ordinary things, but I want him to show the impossible, through me. And I hope that's something that you can strive for too, because he wants that. He wants that for both of us. And so I wanted to share one of my favorite pastors that I always talk about, Dr. Charles Stanley. He had shared, this thing called, talk about 3 different types of faith: good faith, great faith, and he called it perfect faith. I renamed it for the purpose of this episode, ridiculous faith. And so with good faith, it says, I believe God can do it. Great faith says, I believe God is doing it. But perfect or ridiculous faith says, I believe it's already done. And that's the place where God wants us to be. It's already believing that he's already accomplished it in our lives. Even when we don't see it right now, he's already accomplished it in our lives. And that's that ridiculous faith, not seeing or understanding completely, but knowing that it's already done. And so that's what he wants to do through us, is accomplishing that impossible through our lives. He wants to work through us. That's what he desires. And the beautiful thing about it is that he's already empowered you and me to do the work that he set out for us, to be part of his plan. So if he's already empowered us, we just have to activate it and believe it ourselves. And that's where the confidence comes in. And that's also through knowing him personally, having that personal relationship with him. And so, I want to remind you that when he created you, when he created me, he already knew everything about us. He already knew what our strengths were, what our weaknesses were, what our successes were going to be, what our failures were going to be. And yet, and even still, he still created us. Even knowing all of that before the foundation of the world, he still saw it, to the desire to even create us. And that's so beautiful, because that shows and confirms that he has a purpose for you. And so, as I always remind you every single week, and I remind myself too, the choice really is ours. It all boils down to what we're going to decide, how we're going to move forward from here. I hope and pray that all of us, and again, I'm always speaking to myself as much as I'm sharing with you. I hope that we unlearn those unhealthy behaviors, the things that rob us of our confidence, those things that rob us of experiencing God's best in our lives. And I hope that we learn those things that really matter in terms of having a genuine relationship with God and truly understanding, as much as we're able to humanly understand who he is, because he's far beyond our comprehension, but to truly understand how magnificent he is and invite him into our lives to do the impossible to us and through us, so that we can have and experience that unwavering faith, and truly embrace what supernatural confidence is. And so, I have to always remind you that it's not about perfection, it's about progress. And this whole divinement journey is a lifelong journey, just like confidence. It's a lifelong journey too. Sometimes we're not going to feel so confident, sometimes we may feel very confident, but as long as we keep tapping into that supernatural reserve, which is God, through Jesus, as long as we keep tapping into that reserve, we're going to be beyond okay. We're going to be great. We'll have that ridiculous faith. We'll get to that point, and we'll accomplish things that are beyond anything we could ever imagine. And so, confidence in the making is definitely possible for you. It's not something that's impossible. It's happening for you even right now. And so, thank you again for joining me this evening. I want to invite you, as always, to continue to follow us on social, visit our website, mydivignment.com, and continue to join us each week. We're having some great conversations, and I'm so glad you're here. I hope you'll come back next week, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.